Alright, hello everyone, Skeptic here, and today we are going to look over the Guilty Gear Strive developer backyard. This is the third volume on August 31st release. So I haven't seen this one myself, it just recently came out a couple days ago. So I'm kind of excited to see where they're taking Guilty Gear Strive. So let's take a look, shall we? Alright, welcome to another volume of Developer's Backyard. Thanks for reading. This is Katano from the development team at Arc System Works. First off, have you seen the trailer we debuted at the Japan Fighting Game Publishers Roundtable? If not, take a look at it here. And I definitely did. That shit was mad hype. I didn't think they would do 2 trailers at once. That shit was hella crazy. I freaked the fuck out. If you want to see my initial reactions, you can go to my YouTube channel. I'm currently streaming right now, but you can go to my YouTube channel, Simply Skeptic, and you'll see my initial Fighting Game Publisher Roundtable. And just a quick little sidetrack. I love the Japanese Fighting Game Publishers Roundtable. Whoever came up with that idea and pushed it out there, having all the fighting game devs talking about important topics that really need to be talked about, and just seeing their initial thoughts, having that out in the open, being more transparent. I really enjoyed that. So hopefully they do more in the, who knows, in a few months, maybe next year. Just another one would be nice every now and then. So with that, let's continue. Let's see here. Okay, answering your questions, the important part. In this section, we will answer questions we received after Developer's Backyard Volume 2. As always, I, Katana, will answer along with General Director, the God himself, Daisuke Ishiwatari. Alright, first question. Is your goal with Guilty Gear Strive to create a complex fighting game or a simpler one? That's a pretty basic question, but you can go hella deep with this. So I'm curious, let's see. His Katano. First, I'd like to establish that we believe that simple and easy are separate concepts. With that in mind, I'll go over the developmental concepts for GG Strive again. With previous games in the series, new players would not be able to understand what's going on in the match when they watch high-level play, so they wouldn't feel very interested or motivated to improve. Because of that, we are working to make the appearance of moves and general impression of the game easier to comprehend compared to prior entries in the series. Now, I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw Guilty Gear, I don't know which Evo it was one of the Evos, but I'm like, as a newbie, I'd never seen this game before. Shit looked hella crazy. Everyone was air dashing. There was so many moves coming out. Oki, set play. I was like, what the fuck's going on? It's like information overload. So I kind of understand. I like that they want to make the game more like understandable to look at. So I think I agree with the statement that it should be a little bit, there should be more clarity into like what's going on. So I agree with this. So far, I don't see anything wrong here, or I should say anything I dislike. However, advanced techniques will be accordingly difficult to perform. After all, if everyone chooses the same actions and combos, and set play in particular, end up with only one correct option, this would take away Guilty Gear's unique appeal. Okay. I like that. Because yeah, you don't want to end up with everyone just doing, the same optimal thing because this is the best thing and you have to do this. Like, oh, don't apologize. Apologies for the background noise, but the beauty of Guilty Gear is definitely how much you can express yourself within the ability to basically just have that self-expression and being able to be like, oh, this guy, you can look at 2 chip players or 2 soul players, and this player will play soul methodically and slow, while this other soul player will just Fafnir and just gunflame, just go in with all the special moves. You know, he'll just be relentless with pressure. So I really love to, I like to see that acknowledgement that they want more individuality. So let's keep going. I believe that the solution to getting new players to enjoy matches is not to make the game itself easier, but rather to create a rank system that makes it easy for them to play with others who are around the same skill level. If players can find others at the same level, there's no need to try and make new players play the same way as advanced players. In order to make game mechanics that obscure the gap in their skill levels, I'm certain that we can make a game that new players can enjoy, while also keeping advanced techniques in the game. Now, I'm not sure about a ranking system. I'm not sure how accurate ranking systems are in fighting games, because I don't really have an opinion on this, because I don't play that much fighting games with a ranking system. Like, if I go onto, I think Guilty Gear has a ranking system, but literally no one ever uses it. So I'm kind of curious as to see how this ranking system is going to affect how this is going to execute. If it's going to be seamless, or if there's going to be, again, some weird stuff where ranks don't really matter, and just like the disparity is not, there's like the gap is all over the place. So we're gonna see maybe in the future, once the game is released, how they're going to tweak it to make sure that players are truly being matched up at the same skill level. Because I agree that as a newbie player, I'm always trying to do, like, I always watch VODs of like pro players, and I'm trying to understand why they do this, and I try to copy what they do without understanding why they're doing this action. So I think that it's better to play against people of your skill level, so you could understand slowly of why pro players, as you go up the ranks, why they do a certain action. Alright, let's move on here. Also, the techniques in Guilty Gear Strive are difficult in a different way than those in previous Guilty Gear games. Series veterans have been practicing the difficult techniques from prior titles for many years now. Yep. We got FAB, Omito, there's plenty of other players too. Nage, Ogawa. There's definitely a lot of old school players that have been playing for many years. That's why in the current environment, we've been able to see such thoroughly optimized high-level play. However, our goal for this game is to create something new and equally challenging for all players. I think that's always a goal for for most fighting games, is to create, a new installment, is to just bring in the new players and try to appease, the old players, making sure that they also stay. It's so difficult though. I don't know if there's any. Well, I guess I could consider maybe Tekken 7 as like a success in a way, where they're able to bring in a lot of new players, and the old players stick around. So hopefully Guilty Gear Strive does the same thing, but it's just so many comments about it's just so much difference within the GG community itself, with the old players not really into Strive. But I hope they'll stick around. I really do hope. So let's continue. Ishiwatari, I spoke about this a bit during the Japan Fighting Game Publishers Roundtable stream. You can hear my thoughts in this video. So if you guys didn't check it out, you should definitely check out the Japan Fighting Game Publishers Roundtable. It's actually really interesting, even if you don't play or watch the fighting games that are in there. Just understanding the initial thoughts of the fighting game devs is really interesting. If you really enjoy fighting games, and it's just so much, there's a lot of work they put into that you don't really see because we're, you know, on the outside. So if you like fighting games and you like knowing more about them, I definitely think you should check this out. Alright. Will the story in Guilty Gear Strive be a continuation of the previous game, or will it be a start of a new story? The story is a continuation of the Exert series games, but in such a way that even new players can enjoy it. Okay, that's cool. Also, we have something in the works for those who are curious about the story so far. We'll have more information for you later. I do want to get into the GG lore, but I'm so goddamn... I don't know where to start, man. I don't even have the original game. All I have is Accent Core Plus R and Exert Rev 2. I don't know where to begin. I mean, I should probably begin with the first game, but I don't have it, so... Ooh. Alright, question 3. I've noticed that there are a few subtle, almost hidden mechanics and techniques such as changing direction when Roman canceling an air dash, or when using faultless defense after an air dash to fall faster. Do you plan to have more similar advanced and unique techniques, and are there more that players seem to have missed in the beta? Katano says, yes, even as of the closed beta test, we included many more techniques than those we've explained. We wanted to collect data about what players would find and how they would use it in their limited time with the game. When we release information on our official channels, it will have an impact on how people play the game. We wanted everyone to play the game, particularly in regard to the new mechanics, in a neutral state. In the end, we want to leave room for the players' discoveries to exceed our expectations. And although we are still working on the game, there are going to be many major changes compared to the closed beta test. Many major changes. Oh shit. Now, with the last developer backyard with all the crazy Roman cancel stuff, I thought that was pretty cool. So if there's gonna be more major changes, I'm really excited to see what they're gonna bring to the table. Question 4. Uh-oh. This ain't looking too hot. Why aren't you guys addressing rollback netcode in these blogs? The silence around the netplay is truly worrisome. That's a good question though. Katano, as we announced previously, Guilty Gear Strive will use rollback netcode, which is currently under development. We are hoping to show the players our netcode not through a section of developers' backyard, but rather when players can play the game for themselves. We ask for your patience until then. So they're still working on the rollback netcode. So they can't really give too much feedback since they're still working on it, so that makes sense. I still have hopes, man. Please, no Street Fighter V netcode, please. The gods. Alright, question 5. Are you considering introducing a ranking system to the new Guilty Gear? With the ranking system in Exert, intermediate level players would be randomly matched with high level players and end up ranking down. That's what I was talking about earlier with the ranking system disparity, where the ranks don't really matter and it just kind of cues you in with like higher level players or low level players being matched with high level players and etc. On the other hand, however, being able to choose your opponent could also create a disparity in ability between players in the same rank. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts about these ranking systems as well as what you plan to do from here on. My personal thinking is that we don't need rankings in our small community. I do think that it's important to get a sense of satisfaction within your own group, however, so I think having something like titles such as Master of the Soul matchup might be good. Ooh, that's pretty cool. Like having titles and stuff. I like that. Like, I don't know, like maybe you win a lot of games against Soul and then you get like Master of the Soul matchup and it kind of like implores, it's kind of like achievements in a way where it kind of implores you to like do different matchups. Because there are some matchups where I'm like, I fucking hate this shit. I never want to play against this character because they're so... I'm gonna give you an example. I hope you guys can guess what I'm gonna say here. The first letter is E, ends with a T, has a shotgun, that's all I'm saying. I don't like that matchup. I hate it. I don't want to play it. So, if they have like this title where it's like Master of the Elfelt matchup, man, I will grind the shit out of Elfelt to fuck that bitch up so I can eventually become the master of that matchup. So, I think having something like this is actually pretty, like a good idea actually. But let's see what Katano has to say. We plan to announce the details of our system using a different channel, but I can tell you that the rank system will be completely different from prior games. Before, we've made systems for the games in arcades, and then used those ideas as a base when making the console versions. However, since we are developing the game with online matches in mind from the beginning, the baseline is already quite different. Okay, that makes sense. Let me share some reflections we have regarding previous games' rank systems. We noticed players would avoid playing modes that impacted their rank because they didn't like losing points. Yep. Man, it's kind of that same thing too with like when I used to play League and I go on like ranked queue and I just go on this losing streak. I'm like, fuck, man, I hate playing ranked. I don't want to play this shit no more. Because I see the numbers, I see the LP going down, and I'm just like, fuck, man, I hate this shit. So I want to see what they're thinking here. Having multiple online modes split the player base, making it difficult for beginners, particularly to match with people around their skill level. We see these two issues as major problems, and our goal is to avoid them with this game. Also, I'd like to address this now as it is related to online modes. We are implementing more online features in this game for those who want to take their matches seriously. Okay. Interesting. So, this developer backyard is mostly about the ranking, the online ranking system. Question 6. How does the development team feel about the current state of instant blocking, IB, and faultless defense? Oh, here we go. The kind of real stuff. With the added emphasis on risk, even though it's hard to see with how the UI is implemented, which I think everybody can agree, whether it's new players or old GG players, the UI is just so terrible. It's so bland. Like, it doesn't feel like a Guilty Gear game. It's just so weird. FD seems to have a strong place as a defensive option. It both minimizes risk gain and allows for forcing with punish situations from a defender who is making good decisions and paying attention to their opponent. Yeah, but it has a strong place because you're using like meter though. Like, it's not like FD is free. You have to sacrifice your meter though. However, IB seems like it has lost a lot of its interesting aspects from prior titles and only exists because it used to. The interesting point around it, where you can turn block strings punishable to take advantage of autopilot in the offense or create new defensive situations, no longer exists. It's simply meter gain. Is this enough to keep IB interesting and worth the risk? Or does it need further refining and iteration to become a more thoughtful option for the defense? I definitely think IB needs to do something more, because just having meter gain is like, I don't know if it's that much worth it. Like, I don't know. I mean, I've never touched the beta myself, so this is just someone who never played the beta. But if you already, I feel like in videos that I've seen through like Guilty Gear Strive beta VODs and other gameplays, you gain meter pretty quickly. So I'm not sure if IB is really going to be that useful. Alright, Ishiwatari says, we are also continually debating defensive game mechanics. To address instant block specifically, in the closed beta test we simply decrease the reward gain from successfully IBing in order to avoid IB becoming a prerequisite for matches and strategy. However, this removed any incentive to try IBing while also failing to improve the mechanic because the input required remained unchanged. Okay. So they kind of nerfed that shit. So we're currently rethinking the input and effect of IB completely. Our plan is to make the mechanics something more exciting by the next time you can play the game. Look forward to what we can... Okay. So they're still working around IB, but meter... I don't think meter gain is it, man. Or if you're gonna do meter gain, add more effects to it. Because having meter gain itself, I don't think is that... You know, that much worth. And that's it. Thanks for Volume 3 of Developer's Backyard. Thank you for reading to the end. We'll have more news about the game for you in October. Which is, I think, the character reveal, right? So I'm kind of excited to see who they're gonna put in there next. I'm praying for my girl Bikina, and I'm praying for Johnny. They're currently accepting topics. Okay, and looks like that is it. Woo. Okay, this was heavily focused on the online. So I'm kind of curious to hear your opinions about having a ranked mode and the defining functions of what you guys think instant blocking should, like what kind of rewards instant blocking should have. Because I think it's kind of tough, because if you give too many buffs to IV, then you kind of make it a requirement to like do. Because I don't know if you want options to be like a requirement rather than just like, how do I phrase this? Like, if you make it you make this one mechanic so powerful that it's not really an option anymore, and you just constantly have to do it. Like, it's not a situational thing. So, I don't know. Where do you guys kind of draw the line from IB being practically, or for benefits being practically, you don't even need it, to like something that's heavily required that you always have to do in this situation, like it's always optimal, instead of just being a situational mechanic. So thank you guys for watching the YouTube video. I'm going to make more content on Guilty Gear whenever some more news happens in the developer backyard, and definitely I'm gonna post my character reactions for the next character reveal. So stay tuned for that, and thank you.